today is the day that Magnolia Flower is out into the world.
Scholar and author Dr. Ibram X. Kendi, along with his adorable daughter, is celebrating the release of his new children's book. It's called Magnolia Flower. It's a love story adapted for young readers from a short story by acclaimed author and beloved African-American folklorist Zora Neale Hurston. It's beautifully illustrated by Lovis Weiss. Ibram X. Kendi is director of the Boston University Center for Anti-Racist Research, and he joins us now. How are you, Dr. Kendi? It's good to see you again.
It's great to see you. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So Magnolia Flower follows a young Afro-Indigenous girl who longs for freedom. Tell us more about the book and what inspired you to tell the story.
So the book is told by a river, a mighty river, to a dancing brook who keeps asking the river, tell me a love story, tell me a love story. And the river decides to tell the story of Magnolia Flower, who indeed is pushing not only for freedom, but the freedom to love. And so you sort of see the course of her efforts to be free to love. And I just think it's a touching tale for kids, particularly in this time, because it's quite joyful. And obviously, there's a lot of things taking away our joy right now.
Now, what attracted you to Hurston's work? Many people may not know about this piece that you adapted.
So I think in general, what attracted me to Hurston's work, I've just been a long admirer of her novels, of her writings, of her ideas, of her willingness to chronicle and capture the lives of just everyday people, particularly everyday Black, Southern and Northern, rural and urban folks. And she treasured them and revealed their lives. And this short story in particular was written in 1925. And I just think I just thought it was the type of story, type of love story that children in particular would love.
Now, we know that your daughter was your consultant on this. What did she think about the story, and what questions did she ask you as you were putting it together?
So she loved Magnolia Flower. She especially loved the illustrations by Lovis Weiss. And she actually asked, like, how did Lovis do this? I mean, you know, the story, the illustrations are just so beautiful. And so she hasn't started asking questions about the actual text yet, because I think she's so captivated by the illustrations.
You know, this very tough conversations to break down for children, this conversation is in the book, you know, but why is it important to have those conversations with our young people?
I think it's important to expose our young people to the world that they're living in. The more that they understand and know that world, the more they can be protected from the bad aspects of it. And part of that, knowing it, is knowing history. And part of knowing history is knowing about slavery and even the forced relocation of Native peoples. And those elements are in the story. But really, of course, the pulse is this love story. And so I think it can be a good introduction to children to start asking questions, about these periods in history. And then also they learn that even during slavery, there were people who fought for freedom. You know, even during people running from the Trail of Tears, they were people who were finding love.
This is just your latest children's book. You just published Good Night Racism. But let me ask, how has being a parent changed the way you view racism and the ways to talk about it?
I think the biggest way it's changed me is, for a long time, I was focused on adults and ensuring that adults had the capability to understand and be anti-racist. And I didn't realize that the very people who are the most vulnerable, particularly to negative racist messages, to harmfully racist messages, are the very people who are the least likely to engage about those messages? Children. And so that's what sort of is moving me and inspiring me, to even produce a book like Magnolia Flower.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Dr. Ibram Kendi, thanks for joining us to tell us about the book, Magnolia Flowers. Good to see you again.
It's great to see you.
Take care. Up next, the proposal for a key commuter route, the efforts to reimagine living, working, and traveling on Blue Hill Avenue, the changes that are in the works, and why there's some resistance to the plan. That's next on Cityline.